The history between the United States and Russia has been marked by both cooperation and fierce rivalry, shaped by different ideologies, political systems, and ambitions. From the early days of American independence to the tense standoffs of the Cold War and into the 21st century, the relationship between these two superpowers has been anything but simple. Let's take a deep dive into this lengthy and complex history, where at times, the world held its breath, wondering if the two would clash in full-scale war. In the beginning, the relationship between the United States and Russia was mostly peaceful. After the American Revolution, both countries had mutual interests in challenging British power. In fact, Russia was one of the few nations that recognized the United States' independence early on. However, despite some shared interests, there were still major differences in political structure and ideology, with the U.S. embracing democracy, and Russia under the absolute rule of the Tsar. During the 19th century, Russia and the U.S. occasionally cooperated diplomatically, such as when Russia offered support during the U.S. Civil War. The Russian Empire was actually quite sympathetic to the Union cause, offering naval support to keep the British and French out of the conflict. The most defining period of U.S.-Russia relations came after World War II. The defeat of Nazi Germany left the U.S. and the Soviet Union as the two superpowers vying for global influence. But instead of aligning as allies, the two quickly became bitter rivals, each representing opposing ideologies: capitalism and democracy versus communism and totalitarianism. This conflict would come to be known as the Cold War, a war of ideologies, where the battlefield wasn't just in Europe, but in every corner of the globe. The Cold War was marked by direct and indirect conflicts. The Korean War, Vietnam War, and numerous other proxy wars saw the U.S. and the Soviet Union supporting opposing sides. Both sides built massive nuclear arsenals, and the fear of nuclear war loomed over every confrontation. The Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962 was perhaps the closest the world ever came to nuclear war. Soviet missiles stationed in Cuba led to a 13-day standoff, during which the U.S. and the Soviet Union held their breath, knowing that one wrong move could destroy civilization as we know it. At the same time, the Cold War also became a battle for technological superiority. The space race captured the world's imagination, with the U.S. landing on the moon in 1969, a moment that symbolized the triumph of American ingenuity and democratic values. In the 1980s, the Cold War began to thaw. Mikhail Gorbachev's rise to power brought new policies like glasnost, openness, and perestroika, restructuring, which led to a reduction in tensions between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. President Ronald Reagan and Gorbachev's historic meetings in the 1980s helped pave the way for arms reductions. By 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed entirely, and the Cold War came to a peaceful end. For a time, the U.S. and Russia entered a period of cooperation and hope for a new era of friendship.